Well, hi, this is Jeff with Final Boss. We are doing another writing tip here, and this is how to have dramatic irony. It's on that side. How to have dramatic irony without breaking point of view rules. And that's a really good question. I think one of the challenges with writing in point of view is we've all been raised on film. We all know film can kind of blend a little bit more because it generally skews towards an omniscient view unless you're doing something more artsy. So one of the things that you'll often have is like when people are breaking this rule is their point of view character will turn around and say, "Well, I didn't see the sinister person coming up behind me." Of course they can't say that because it would be breaking point of view. So depending on the point of view you're in, there are kind of different rules to think about, or not rules, but just principles to think about. First is in first person, it's very hard to do this. One of the ways you mainly manage getting dramatic irony in, where the reader knows something the character doesn't, in first person is either by having another point of view character that can, like, you flash over to the bad guy and he's doing something and we see that, or you have clues and evidence that maybe the character isn't putting together, but the reader might be able to. Unfortunately, that always comes off a little poorly, and it makes your main character not seem very smart, because if the reader is reading the clues to this point of view character and the character isn't picking those up, it's going to be a little iffy. In third person, you have a little bit more flexibility. In close third person, you can't break that rule. You can have some stuff with the narrator, like, so this is more of an advanced thing, but like sometimes the narrator, the speaker of the third person, even though it's a close third person, will have their own character and their own point of view. Where you'll see this a lot with Agatha Christie in her Poirot novels. She's more of an omniscient, but she'll still do this where the narrator's voice will sometimes poke fun at the characters, and say, oh, well, of course, the police chief missed this because he's not as smart as Poirot. Stuff like that. It's a little tricky overall, so a little bit more of an advanced technique. The most common thing you'll see is in close third, you'll have that shifting point of view. A lot of the same techniques. In terms of having other sources of dramatic irony, the best bet is omniscient or a shift in point of view. But I think subtext is and dialogue, so having something on the page that maybe the flaw of the character is not letting them pick up is probably your best bet. So saying, oh, this character has a blind spot. He always thinks this person, has their best interest at heart, when really the reader can read between the lines because they don't have an emotional thing. So using the character's emotions to blind them to something is helpful. Using clues, that only the reader can pick up is helpful, but sometimes can give the impression the character is not very wise. And then also using shifts in point of view and stuff like that to give another angle. But it is really hard to do that without breaking point of view, especially if you're in first person, and less so if you're in close third person, if you're using the narrator as their own character as well. So I hope that's helpful, i.e. a retrospective narrator too. So I hope that's helpful. And yeah, feel free to jump on stream, ask me more on this question, because I know it's a tricky one and it's not easily answered. Anyways, best luck with your writing, and I'll talk to y'all very soon.